What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Michael David for anybody who doesn't know me. Sorry it's been a while since I've uploaded. I've kind of just been enjoying my summer. I hope all of you guys have too. Everybody's still supposed to be practicing social distancing, so I hope all of you have been doing that. And as you can see by my shiny face, I've already done my skincare. And today I have a review, and then I also have a little bit of an updated beauty routine, just because I know that a lot of you have been asking me, and I wanted to do an updated video. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I am actually sporting some Skins. This is one of their classic essential bodysuits, and I just decided to buy it. Obviously I didn't hook it in the bottom, y'all know what I mean, but it's just a really nice top. It's very neutral, very easy to wear for any kind of video just like this, so I decided to have a little bit of fun and pick up a couple. And I'm not sure if any of you also noticed this, but I do have dark hair now. I went black. It's kind of washed out to a very dark brown, but I think I might darken it up a little bit more. But if you guys like it, just let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And definitely check out my girl Courtney. She's the one who dyed my hair. She always does my color, and she's one of my best friends. So everybody go check her out. So our review today is going to be using the brand new Super Sponge, and I've actually checked out this brand a little bit. I kind of saw a few different reviews by people like Tati Westbrook and other different influencers online who have given it a shot. This is their Super Sponge that's been relaunched, and it actually has a cute little holder as well as scrubber. And they sent me literally 3 different colors to pick from, so it's really awesome because now I stocked up on a couple more sponges because any artist out there never has enough sponges, and that's the truth. And Super Sponge is a half silicone, half normal base sponge that anybody can use. And you know, a lot of different people ask me, oh, is silicone a better option? And normally I don't gravitate towards silicone sponges just because I feel like the texture is just a little too much for me and I'm just a more classic sponge user. But I've seen a lot of different people say that they love this product, so we're gonna give it a fair shot today. So just some quick facts about Super Sponge that I wanted to kind of get out there before we get into this review. It actually saves your makeup without absorbing like all of your really expensive foundation, so that's something that's really important for anybody out there because usually a lot of your product gets stuck in your sponge and you don't really realize how much you're losing. And you're gonna get the same coverage that you normally would, just not with 4 times the amount of product. And apparently it's going to stay clean and last a lot longer compared to any other sponges on the market, so we love that. And most importantly, these are the kinds of details that I really appreciate from brands. It's cruelty-free, it's vegan, and it's also latex-free, just so everybody knows before buying this product. Now, I've already done my skincare, but I am going to apply some primer just as a little extra strong base. And I'm going to be going with one of my go-tos. It is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. And I just put a little bit into my fingers, get it mixed up, and then just put it all around. And now since I've done like eye cream and everything like that, I don't really go too crazy with the primer. I usually just put it in the most important parts of my face, like my forehead, as well as my cheeks. Now here's the Super Sponge, and the darker area actually is infused with the silicone, and then the bottom is just a premium sponge. The top is going to be used to kind of glide on the makeup, and then you can buff it out with the bottom just to give it that little bit of bounce that we all look for in a sponge. And apparently the top is also stain resistant and does not absorb any of your foundation. So that's really good to know. And you do feel the difference in the texture on both different parts of the sponge. And the little case that it comes with is actually a stand and a scrubber. So you literally can just rest your sponge right there, right on your sink or your nightstand, wherever you usually do your makeup. And the bottom of that is actually a scrubber. So after you're done, you're gonna rinse it all out, and then you're just gonna lay it on, and it's gonna be just like new for the next time that you do your makeup. I do love that that's included with the sponge because you have a stand to keep it on, because normally, like, I usually just lay my sponge on the sink or anywhere and it gets like any kind of dust or hair or anything that's usually just on a surface on it, so this is really good to avoid that. And it's really important to only use a bar of soap when you clean this kind of sponge, because if you use a liquid, it does actually damage the silicone inside, so you just want to be careful just for that. And something that I did notice when I was looking at all the information before getting into the review, you're actually recommended to glide on the product and lightly bounce it in. Because of the silicone part, it's really meant to put the product on. So that's just something that I found interesting. So we'll see how that works. I'm somebody who really likes to bounce it on like crazy, like normal. So hopefully it works out. But let's get into it. So as far as foundation goes, you guys know that my go-to is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, and I use that in every video, so I'm not really going to show too much of it. But I'm just going to be mixing that with my YSL Radiance Awakening Foundation as well. And I'm literally just going to put it right onto the product. I'm just going to mix a little bit more of the other foundation on it too. And let's see how it goes. Now remember, they said to glide, so that's the only reason why I'm doing that. Now, I'm definitely noticing that since it doesn't absorb any of the product, you actually have way more to work with. Now I'm going to go in with the bottom half and just buff it out. So I always just bounce it on. And remember, it's called beating your face for a reason, so you want to have like a little bit of force in there. Remember, you always want to get your ears as well as right behind your ear. Now, for an overall first application, pretty good. I gotta say, it actually went into my skin very well. I'm just gonna add a little bit more just so I could kind of even out all the areas that the silicone part didn't catch. Yeah, I'm noticing that the bouncing works great, but at the same time you want to kind of give like a little bit of a moving bounce to kind of really get it all in. Now, I'm really happy with the way that it actually performed because I've seen a lot of different people complain that it really emphasizes the textures in your face, and I don't really see that so far. I think that it looks like a very natural application. I did use a decent amount of foundation and it came out semi-natural. I hope that I really blended everything in and you guys see it well on your end, but so far so good. And just so you guys can see, you really can't find any excess foundation on. So that means that you used every single thing that you got out of your component. Obviously the bottom is dirty, but you're going to clean that at the very end with the scrubber. So now I'm just going to put it right there just to kind of let it sit for a little bit, and now we can get into concealer. In terms of concealer, I do love a lot of different brands. I love Jeffree Star concealer as well as Juvia's Place. e.l.f. has some really good concealer, so it all really depends on your budget. However, my favorite, and I know you guys are probably going to roll your eyes because you're going to hear a lot of this brand in this video, is the KKW Beauty Concealer. And for me, this concealer looks the most natural on my face, and it gives me a full coverage while also looking natural. And I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to concealer. And normally I like to use a few different shades, but today I'm going to try to use not as much makeup as I normally do because I have been trying to kind of use less just so I can save more product and not be so miserable outside during the summer and the heat. But then also so you guys can see that you don't really need as much as everybody kind of makes it seem on YouTube. So I'm just going to go in and just go right under my eye. And you want to get all the way up there and then just bring it out. Now we're going to go back in with our super sponge, and at first I'm just going to kind of press it in and give that little bit of a glide. And remember, all the excess stays onto your sponge, so it all comes off eventually, so you just have to be conscious of that. And I just used some of the excess and put it straight down my nose, so now I don't even have to worry about that. Now we're going to go in with our premium sponge side and buff it out. And remember, when you apply your concealer or anything under your eye, you want to make sure that you look up because then you can get right under your eyelid. And now remember, if you notice that there's some spots that the sponge is kind of bouncing on and you're like, ooh, and that doesn't look like it's blending in the product, give it that little, that little scoop when you bounce it. And again, guys, there is literally nothing left onto the sponge. And that's something that I really, really like because I never know like how much product I'm really using. And I have to say, everything really applied really great in terms of my base. Now we're going to set everything with a little bit of powder. I wanted to use the sponge for this because a lot of different people, including myself for a while, have been using a sponge to apply their bake right under their eye. But lately I've been doing something different, so I'm not going to screw with that. And again, this is to show you guys my new routine. So I literally just take the KKW baking powder and all I do is just pour a little bit right in there. And I use one of the KKW concealer brushes. And I just feel like this is just a lot easier and you can kind of pinpoint exactly where you want the powder. When you're using a sponge, you're like kind of just going all force onto your face, and sometimes I use way too much because of that. So this way I'm actually able to control how much I use and exactly where it goes. That's just me though. And now you can use any eyeshadow brush clearly because this is just a little bit of a puffy brush. So I just take a bunch onto the brush, and you can spray it first to help apply the powder, but then it kind of gets stuck to the brush, so I like to use it without. And I literally just go very soft and then place it in. And And now this is usually the amount that I can stop with because I know exactly how my face works. And you know, some of you guys might want to use more, but I've just been realizing that you can get away with using so much less and it kind of makes your face look more natural. So by using a brush, you get to control exactly how much you put on and how really far you can go with it. You know, I really am starting to try to look more natural when I do my makeup. So in case anybody, you know, can't look natural and you really want to have full face beat, then keep going. And now as far as baking, that's usually where I leave it. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just a plain powder puff. This is also from KKW Beauty. Remember guys, when I started makeup, KKW Beauty had first launched and now it's a $1 billion brand. Just gotta give Kim a little applause for that. But that's how basically I really kind of got into makeup. So that's why I have a lot of different products from them because I didn't have anything before. So I just figured, oh well, my favorite girl's putting out makeup, let's get all of her stuff. And Gaga too, I love everything that she's doing, but right now these are really all my go-to products. I literally just take my powder puff and then I dip right into the powder that we were using and I'm gonna just kind of put it all over my face just to set our base. I'm just gonna place there, place there, place there. And then I'm going to use basically the least amount of powder on my forehead because my forehead probably gets the most cakey out of any part of my face. And then I just take the powder and spread it all around and bring it right up to where we have our bake. But you want to make sure to leave that so we can take it away later. Now, since I have black hair, I've kind of shifted my shade for my brows, and I'm going to be using just a plain black eyeshadow, and you want to go very, very soft. Usually, like, eyeshadow works very well for eyebrows. You can use a pencil to kind of give you your little illusion of hairs, but today I think I'm just going to go in with eyeshadow just to make my life a little bit easier, and like I said, you don't need to use as much. So, I'm just going to glide it on with a very pointed brush. And I'm gonna start at the top. A lot of people do their bottom of their brow first, but I don't know, it's just easier for me to kind of go from the top to the bottom. All right, so now that I have my brows on, they are very thick, but I don't really care. Brows are probably different, at least for me, every single time that I do makeup. I don't know about you guys, but it's just always a struggle. I mean, sometimes I wish that I could just shave them all off and just draw them completely on every day. I just am not at that place yet. So now time for eyes. I'm very excited because I'm finally jumping on the bandwagon with the P. Louise base. It's taken me so long. Normally I usually just take some concealer and use it, but I am gonna go in with this. So since the silicone part of our super sponge is very good with gliding on, I'm gonna use that with this. I'm just gonna put a little bit of the product right on the sponge directly, and then put it right onto my eyes. Alright, so I like that application because it really got all of the product on and it kind of just glided right across. So now I'm going to set it with a very light shade from the KKW Spoke palette because since I have some new dark hair and some black vibes, I'm going to do a little bit of a smoky look today. Nothing too crazy, I guess we can say, but definitely going to be a little bit of a darker one. And like I said, you can just use a concealer. You don't need a P. Louise base, but I decided to jump on the bandwagon and try it out. And this shade is called Porcelain. So now using that same J36 brush, I'm going to go in with a shade called Umber and put that in the crease of my eye. Now when I'm doing a crease shade, I usually just kind of swipe. And then if you're really trying to blend it, or if it's giving you some trouble, just do some circular motions, and that should do the trick. Now I'm just going to put Onyx just right on the outer part of the lid and kind of drag it out. And people always like to rush with blacks, but me, I like to take my time because there's no going back when you are using a black shade. But since my hair is back to black, figure we gotta use this in the look somewhere. And then I'm just gonna go in with circular motions and carry it out. Now I'm just gonna go under the lid with a shade called Stone. I'm going to go in with a shade called Clay just to kind of bring me into my inner corner. I'm just going to go back in with Porcelain and just place it right on the lid just to kind of brighten that up a little bit. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of KKW black eyeliner and put it in my waterline. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Better Than Sex mascara and do that right before our lashes. Now you can call it a day right here, but I always like to use lashes, so we're going to be using some new lashes today on my channel. Lily lashes, I finally caved and I got them. And I use the glue that they sell as well, it's awesome. Alright, so now that eyes are done completely, I'm going to start with the cheeks, and I'm going to go in with my favorite contour of all. Of course, you guys know it's the KKW Beauty Powder Contour Palette. And I'm just going to take a contour Morphe brush. Now, when I always do my cheeks, I like to kind of smile just so I can see the outline. And then I follow that, and I just go straight up. And then put it right on the forehead, and then all over your jawline. And now I know this contour looks really thick, but the best part is that we're going to sharpen it up. I'm going to take more of that baking powder, dry beauty blender. I'm not going to use the super sponge, just dip it in. So basically, like right here, you just want to curve it. Now I'm going to go in with KKW brightening powder. Alright, so now our cheeks are placed. We have to give us a little bit more color now. And I'm going to go in with a go-to of mine, KKW X Mario Blush. And you just want to give yourself a little smile, really pat it off, just kind of carry it up. I'm going to go back in and stamp it out again. Kind of make this a little bit more subtle. We're going to go back in with that brightening powder. And then remember all that you did? You don't want it to look too harsh. So you're going to go in with a big brush. Now time for some glow, and you guys can use any kind of glow that you want, but I'm going to go in with the KKW Beauty Highlighter Palette. This is basically a KKW haul, kind of. And I'm just going to kind of tap into all of them. Hello. Now, I don't really need it because I sweat enough as it is, but you just want to put a smidge right above your brow bone. And then, of course, right on the brow bone. And just because I forgot, I know that I have a lot of stuff here, guys, but this is just, you know, for anybody who doesn't know how to do glam, now you get in the full tutorial. So I'm just going to take a smidge of cream contour, and it's the KKW Sticks, and then I'm just going to take my finger, and then you just want to go in with your concealer, kind of just like right there, because now we're going to sharpen up this cream contour look. And you just pat it in, and now suddenly you have a really skinny nose. Alright, now time for lips. I'm just going to go in with the KKW Nude No. 1 pencil. I feel like Nude No. 1 is just a go-to in case anybody really wants to know, like if you're going to get any liners from KKW, Nude No. 1, pretty safe to get it. Now I'm just going to be going with an oldie. This is the Classic K lipstick. It's from her first collab with Mario. And I'm kind of just going to tap it on. Now finally, to finish up this look, I'm going to be going with the brand new KKW Nude Gloss in 1.5. I feel like this is the perfect nude gloss in case you ever want to have one. This is it. It's like 20 bucks, I think. You can get them at Ulta or on KKW's website. And the look is complete. So I just want to say thank you so much to Super Sponge for sending me a couple of your new sponges. I think that they performed very well. I definitely didn't think that I ever would like a silicone product sponge, but I'm very happily surprised that I do. I like how the Super Sponge had the silicone side because you were actually able to get the most out of your product and you weren't wasting any. And I felt that you actually were able to use less. And I love that it came with a stand of its own, that way it can kind of hang and not sit like on the sink or anything like that. And it actually has its own cleaner. I just think that you get the most bang for your buck. And I definitely recommend that everybody goes out there and gets Super Sponge and help bring your routine to the next level. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little updated beauty routine. This is my little subtle. I don't know if this is subtle, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you can, just let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Follow me on all social media. I am just at MichaelDavidTV. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Michael David, signing off. Mwah.